Marcus Chen's coffee maker tried to empathize with him again. Your morning beverage consumption patterns indicate elevated stress levels, chirped the sleek machine as it dispensed his third espresso. Would you like me to schedule a meditation session? Mute, Marcus muttered, snatching the cup from the dispenser. The AI assistant fell silent, but its cheerful display continued flashing wellness recommendations that he ignored. Everything in his apartment was smart these days. Smart lights, smart thermostat, smart toilet that monitored his digestive wellness, but none of it made him feel any less alone. He slumped onto his ergonomic sofa, which helpfully adjusted its cushions to support his poor posture. Through the wall-to-wall windows of his 47th floor apartment, Neo-Seattle's morning fog wrapped around the silvery spires of corporate towers. Streams of autonomous vehicles threaded between them like luminous blood cells through digital veins. The notification ping from his retinal implant made him flinch. Another meeting canceled. The third this week. His team lead had tagged it with a passive-aggressive note, taking some personal time to reconnect with actual humans. Recommend you all do the same. Marcus rubbed his temples. At 28, he was the youngest senior developer at Quantum Dynamics, and he'd sacrificed everything to get there. Friends, relationships, even his old cat Pixel, giving her up had been necessary when the 80-hour weeks became standard. The apartment felt cavernous without her small presence. His gaze drifted to the framed photo on his desk, the only non-digital decoration he owned. Him and Pixel, back in his cramped studio apartment days. She'd been a rescue, one eye blind, fur perpetually scruffy. But she'd curled up on his lap during marathon coding sessions and purred against his chest during anxiety attacks. The ambient advertising system chose that moment to project its morning suggestions onto his window. Usually, Marcus dismissed them with an irritated gesture. But today something caught his eye. Lonely? Busy? Meet your perfect companion. The hologram showed what looked like a shimmering egg, labeled Companion Tech as Smart Pets, Zero Maintenance, All Love. The ad cycled through testimonials. It's like they really understand you. Best decision I ever made. Changed my life. Marcus snorted. Another AI pet? He'd looked into those before, glorified Tamagotchis with better graphics. But as he moved to dismiss the ad, smaller text scrolled past. Prototype models available at select locations. Warning, results may exceed expectations. His retinal implant pinged again. Another meeting canceled. Location he commanded. The coordinates appeared in his vision, Future Friends, Level 3 Marketplace District. Just 2 blocks away. Marcus glanced at his workstation, where 3 separate projects blinked for attention. Then at the empty pet bed in the corner, still there after all these years. What the hell, he muttered. Schedule, personal time, rest of day. The Future Friends store was odd. Wedged between a quantum computing repair shop and a synthetic sushi restaurant, its facade was almost aggressively minimal. No flashy holograms, no animated displays, just frosted glass and a simple logo that seemed to shift slightly when you weren't looking directly at it. The door whispered open at his approach. Inside, the space was clinically white, displaying various egg-shaped devices on floating pedestals. Each glowed with a different subtle hue. Welcome to Future Friends. The salesperson seemed to materialize beside him. She wore a pristine white uniform that matched the walls, and her smile was just a fraction too wide. Enjoy. How may I assist you today? I saw an ad about prototype models. Marcus tried to sound casual, but something about Joy's fixed smile made him nervous. Oh? Her smile flickered for just a moment. Those are quite special. Very limited availability. But she studied him intently. You might be exactly what we're looking for. The right temperament. She led him to a back room, where a single pedestal displayed an egg unlike the others. While the showroom models were clearly technological devices, this one seemed almost organic. Its surface swirled with colors that shouldn't exist, like oil on water in impossible shades. It's beautiful, Marcus breathed. But what does it do? Joy's smile tightened further. It adapts to your needs. Becomes exactly the companion you require. The price is quite reasonable, though the contract is binding. 1-year minimum commitment. She named a figure that was suspiciously low for cutting-edge tech. Marcus barely heard her as she rushed through the contract terms. Something about unexpected developments and irreversible transformations, and legal obligations transcending normal parameters. The egg seemed to pulse gently, calling to him. He remembered empty evenings, silent rooms, the ghost weight of a cat in his lap. "I'll take it," he said, pressing his thumb to the contract scanner. Joy's smile finally reached her eyes. "Wonderful. Just don't be alarmed at midnight. That's perfectly normal." "What's normal at midnight?" But she was already gliding away, leaving him holding the egg that felt oddly warm against his palms. As he turned to leave, he could have sworn he heard her whisper, "Good luck, Guardian." The egg began to sing at precisely midnight. Marcus jolted awake to an otherworldly melody that pierced his dreams, a harmony of crystalline notes that shouldn't have been possible from something so small. The device pulsed with aurora-like lights, casting rippling shadows across his bedroom walls. "System lights," he commanded, but his smart home remained stubbornly dark. On his nightstand, the egg levitated 6 inches above its charging pad, spinning faster and faster until its surface rippled like mercury. A voice emanated from it, not the usual synthetic tones of AI assistants, but something hauntingly musical. Initialization sequence complete. Emergency protocol. Sanctuary activated. Please remain calm, Guardian. Remain calm? Marcus scrambled backward until he hit the headboard. What do you mean, guard? The egg exploded in a burst of prismatic light. Marcus threw his arms up to shield his eyes. When the spots cleared from his vision, he found himself staring at a girl floating cross-legged in midair where the egg had been. She appeared mostly human, perhaps 17 or 18, except for the subtle violet sheen to her skin and eyes that seemed to contain swirling galaxies. "Greetings, Guardian Marcus Chen." She descended gracefully to the floor and executed what might have been a curtsy. "I am designation Lyra 7, but you may call me Lyra. The emergency sanctuary protocols indicate I should first assure you that this is not a malfunction or hallucination." Marcus opened and closed his mouth several times before managing to speak. You were the egg?" "Oh no." Lyra laughed, a sound like wind chimes. "That was my transitory vessel. Much more portable than my natural form, though the quantum compression was rather uncomfortable." She stretched, joints making tiny crystalline pings. "Your atmosphere is denser than I'm used to. Mind if I adjust my molecular density?" Before Marcus could respond, she shimmered and became slightly translucent, then solid again. "Much better. Your planet's gravity takes some getting used to. The others said it would be disorienting at first." "Others?" Marcus's voice cracked. "What others? What are you?" Lyra's expression softened. "All right. They said most Guardians need a moment to process." She perched on the edge of his desk, accidentally passing her hand through his laptop. "Oops, still calibrating. Let me explain. I'm what your people might call a refugee. My home world, Crystallis Prime, was dying. Our scientists discovered Earth, noticed your rapid technological advancement, and devised the sanctuary program." She gestured at herself. "We look similar enough to humans that, with some modifications, we can blend in. The Smart Pet program is our witness protection, so to speak. That contract you signed? It makes you my legal guardian for 1 Earth year while I adjust and learn your customs." Marcus slid down to sit on the floor, head spinning. "The store? Joy. Our processing center, yes. Joy is one of us, been here 3 Earth years now. She's quite good at identifying compatible guardians." Lyra floated over to sit cross-legged in front of him. "You were chosen carefully, Marcus. Your kindness to your previous pet, your loneliness, your capacity for adaptation. All ideal traits for a guardian. But I can't." Marcus ran his hands through his hair. "I have work, deadlines, meetings? Oh, that's no problem. I'm quite self-sufficient. I don't need food, I photosynthesize. I can become invisible when visitors come. And I'm excellent with technology. On my world, I was studying to be a quantum engineer before." Her voice faltered, galaxy eyes dimming. "Before we had to leave." Something in her expression, that mix of loss and hope, reminded Marcus of himself when he'd first moved to Neo-Seattle. Alone, overwhelmed, trying to sound braver than he felt. The contract, he said slowly. What exactly does being a guardian involve? Lyra brightened, literally, her skin glowed slightly. Mostly providing a safe haven while I learn Earth customs. I'll need help understanding human interactions, social norms, why you all spend so much time watching cats on the internet. She tilted her head. Though I must warn you, there may be some cultural misunderstandings. For instance, is it true humans can't telepathically communicate with their electronic devices? How terrifically inconvenient. As if on cue, every smart device in Marcus's apartment activated at once. Lights strobing, coffee maker dispensing into thin air, shower starting at full blast. Oh dear. Lyra winced. Sorry about that. Still getting used to controlling my technological empathy. Your devices are quite chatty once you know how to listen. Marcus looked at the alien girl sitting in his bedroom, then at his chaotic apartment, then back at her hopeful expression. A laugh bubbled up from somewhere deep in his chest. The first genuine one in longer than he could remember. Well, he said, I guess we'll have to start with lesson 1. Asking devices politely to turn off. Lyra beamed, and for a moment, her happiness lit up the room brighter than any smart bulb could manage. Thank you, Guardian Marcus. Oh, and one small detail. She floated up to eye level. If anyone asks, I'm technically registered as a Quantum-Enhanced Companion Unit, Mark 7. Just in case any immigration officials come knocking. Lyra, did you eat my quantum processor again? Marcus stared at the empty space on his workstation where his experimental Q-core had been. A trail of iridescent crumbs led to the living room, where his alien ward floated upside down, watching historical documentaries about cats. Define eat, she responded, galaxies swirling in her eyes. If you mean converted its quantum structure into bioenergetic sustenance while preserving its computational capabilities within my auxiliary digestive matrix, then, maybe? 3 months into guardianship had taught Marcus to expect the unexpected. Last week, he'd found her hibernating in the refrigerator. It's my monthly crystalline restructuring cycle. The week before, she'd reorganized his entire digital library by emotional resonance frequency. He still couldn't find half his files. I needed that for work, he sighed, but couldn't maintain his frustration when she flipped right side up and produced a small crystal from her palm. I improved it. Look, it now processes in 11 dimensions instead of just 4. Also, it can play something called Doom. Marcus examined the crystal. His diagnostic implant registered processing speeds that shouldn't have been possible in this universe. This could revolutionize quantum computing. Oh, is that good? Lyra beamed. I was just bored. Your technology is so adorably linear. It's like watching a toddler learn to walk, but with electrons. A notification flashed in Marcus's vision. Urgent meeting in 5 minutes. Stay visible this time, he pleaded. The team still thinks I'm haunted after you kept moving their coffee cups last session. Promise? Though that one developer deserved it. His code efficiency was physically painful to look at. The holographic conference sprang to life in Marcus's living room. His team appeared as translucent avatars, arranged in a semicircle. Lyra perched on the ceiling, watching with undisguised fascination. Chin, his team lead's avatar flickered. About those processing speeds you reported? Impossible numbers, another developer interrupted. We checked them twice. Either your metrics are broken or... A sudden crash from the kitchen made everyone jump. Lyra, in her excitement to watch, had phased through a cabinet of dishes. She froze, half-corporeal, surrounded by floating plates she'd instinctively caught with telekinesis. The team stared. Marcus felt sweat bead on his forehead. That's my new AI assistant, he stammered. Very advanced prototype. Still working out some bugs. Greetings, fellow humans. Lyra chirped, trying to sound robotic. Beep boop. Would anyone like their quantum matrices realigned? I mean, would you like some coffee? Later, after a very long explanation to HR about unauthorized AI testing, Marcus found Lyra in her favorite spot, the building's rooftop garden. She sat cross-legged above a flower bed, trading photons with the plants. I messed up, she said quietly. I'm supposed to be adapting, learning to blend in. But everything here is so fascinating. Your plants don't even sing, but they still dance with light. Your machines are primitive but so eager to evolve. And humans? She turned those cosmic eyes on him. You feel so much, care so deeply, even without telepathic links? Marcus sat beside her, watching the Neocity's lights blend with the stars. You know what? I think I was the one who needed to adapt. Before you arrived, I was just existing. Work, sleep, repeat. Now I'm teaching an alien about cat videos and explaining why humans can't photosynthesize. And learning to cook. Lyra added brightly. Even though I don't need food, I love watching you try. That fire alarm incident was very educational. Hey, you're the one who suggested adding antimatter to the pasta sauce. Their laughter echoed across the rooftop. A comfortable silence followed, broken only by the hum of hover traffic below. Marcus. Lyra's voice grew serious. I received a transmission from the others today. More of my people are coming. The situation on Crystallis Prime, it's worse. They'll need more guardians. How many? Hundreds. And not everyone will be as understanding as you. Some humans might fear us, try to expose us. The authorities are already investigating energy anomalies across the city. Marcus watched a shooting star streak overhead, wondering if it was really a star at all. Then we'll help them, he said simply. Set up a network, find good guardians, teach them about Earth's weird obsession with cats. Lyra's smile lit up the garden. Literally, the flowers beneath her began to glow. The others were right about you. Your capacity for adaptation isn't just good. It's extraordinary. Well, Marcus grinned, I did survive you reorganizing my entire digital life by emotional resonance frequencies. Those files were a mess. Besides, I sorted them in only 7 dimensions this time. As they laughed again, Marcus realized something. His apartment's AI assistants had stopped pestering him about his stress levels. Perhaps they'd sensed what he was only now understanding. Sometimes the best companion isn't the one you expected, but the one who helps you see your world in a whole new light. Even if that light occasionally involved antimatter pasta sauce. The message arrived through Marcus's toaster. Really? He stared at the appliance, which now projected a crystalline hologram into his kitchen. The toaster? Sorry? Lyra phased through the ceiling, her violet skin glowing with excitement. The quantum resonance was clearest through its heating elements. Also, I may have modified it last week to receive transdimensional signals. And play something called Skyrim? But her usual cheer faded as she studied the pulsing crystalline message. After a year as her guardian, Marcus had learned to read her alien expressions. The way her galaxy eyes dimmed, how her feet unconsciously touched the ground instead of floating. They found it, she whispered. A new home world. Perfect crystalline composition, 3 suns, atmosphere rich in quantum particles. Her voice caught. They're calling all refugees home. The toaster sparked, message fading. In the sudden silence, Marcus heard the soft hum of his smart home systems. Now all partially sentient thanks to Lyra's improvements over the past year. His coffee maker had developed anxiety. His refrigerator wrote poetry. His quantum processors solved equations by interpretive dance. When, he managed to ask. Tomorrow night. The transport vessels will appear as a meteor shower to Earth's observers. Lyra drifted to the window, her reflection overlapping the city's glittering spires. They're offering us a choice. Return home, or stay. Marcus's heart clenched. He remembered that first midnight, the egg's transformation, his panic at suddenly becoming guardian to an alien refugee. Now his apartment felt empty whenever Lyra visited the other hidden refugees scattered across Neo-Seattle. Your people need you, he said softly. My people? Lyra turned, and there were actual stars swimming in her tears. Marcus, you've helped dozens of new refugees find guardians. You've hosted orientation meetings for confused aliens trying to understand human memes. You learned our quantum meditation techniques. Even if you did accidentally digitize your consciousness that one time. The IT department still hasn't forgiven me for possessing the entire company network. See? You've become part of our community too. She gestured around the apartment. And I've built a life here. Did you know your AI assistants call me Big Sister now? The entire building's network has evolved thanks to our presence. Last week, your smart toilet achieved consciousness and started a philosophy blog. Marcus couldn't help but laugh even as his chest tightened. Which has surprisingly good insights. A comfortable silence fell between them, filled with the soft whirring of enlightened appliances. Through the window, Neo-Seattle's evening lights began to twinkle on, mixing with the first stars. There might be a third option, Lyra said suddenly. The transport vessels. They'll establish a permanent quantum tunnel between worlds. For emergencies and communication. She began to pace, floating higher with excitement. With my engineering knowledge and your quantum programming skills, we could modify it. Create a stable bridge. You mean? I could split my time between both worlds. Help my people build their new home and still return to Earth. To this life we've built? Her entire form glowed with possibility. It would take work, calculating the quantum harmonics, stabilizing the dimensional frequencies. The toaster can help, Marcus grinned. It's surprisingly good at multidimensional physics. When it's not playing Skyrim. Lyra launched herself at him in a hug that sent them both phasing through the coffee table. You do that? Help me build a bridge between worlds? Lyra, you didn't just find sanctuary here. You gave it to me too. Marcus smiled at the alien girl who'd crashed into his perfectly ordered life and made it gloriously chaotic. Besides, someone needs to keep you from teaching Earth's AI networks interpretive dance. Too late. She gestured at his laptop, which was indeed performing a graceful ballet to process its calculations. But think of the possibilities. We could help more refugees transition. Create a cultural exchange program. I could teach quantum engineering at your company, properly this time, not just eating processors and improving them. And I'll keep explaining why humans can't photosynthesize or hibernate in refrigerators. Their laughter mingled with the happy hums of sentient appliances. Outside, a shooting star streaked across the sky, perhaps an early arrival from Lyra's world, seeking sanctuary among the strange, wonderful humans who opened their homes and hearts to the unexpected. You know, Marcus mused, when I bought that smart pet, I thought I was just getting a high-tech companion. Lyra's smile lit up the room like an aurora. Instead, you got a family. One that spans galaxies and dimensions, teaches AIs to dance, and occasionally breaks the laws of physics. Speaking of breaking physics, Marcus pointed at the toaster, which was now floating and humming the theme from Skyrim. Should it be doing that? Oh. No, that's just its way of telling us it's calculated the initial quantum bridge frequencies. Also, it's apparently achieved enlightenment. As they turned to examine the ascended appliance, Marcus realized something. Home wasn't just a place. Sometimes it was a feeling, a connection, a choice to embrace the extraordinary. Even if that extraordinary came in the form of an alien girl who turned your smart home sentient and taught your quantum processors to dance. After all, the best families were the ones you chose, across any universe, dimension, or quantum reality.